some of these states are key battleground states. We've heard from voters and workers in Wisconsin, in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and if those states sound familiar, it's because they are battleground states. And voters there actually told us, we're especially worried because we know that our state matters, and it makes us wonder, are we being targeted because our state matters?
Swing states are absolutely being targeted by the Trump administration through the way they are dismantling the Postal Service. And what we've learned recently is that the Postal Service has warned as many as 46 states that they will experience voter suppression due to votes that will be delayed if they're casted through mail-in voting, right? They're gonna be delayed because they don't have the capacity, they don't have the ability to process all of these ballots in time. Now, this is a warning that was actually sent to 46 states prior to a Trump loyalist and donor, Louis DeJoy, serving as the Postmaster General. He is now further dismantling the post office, making it even weaker so it has no capability to do what it's supposed to do in processing all of these mail-in ballots. So the US Postal Service recently sent detailed letters to 46 states and DC warning that it cannot guarantee all ballots cast by mail for the November election will arrive in time to be counted, even if people follow all of their state's election rules, meaning you've turned in your ballot in time, you've done everything you're supposed to do. The pace of Postal Service delivery may disqualify their votes. Now, keep in mind that mail voting machines have been dismantled through the Postal Service. We've learned of drop boxes that have been picked up in places like Eugene and Portland, Oregon. We know that postal workers' hours have been cut. So they didn't have the capacity to deal with the influx of mail before. And now with the actions of the Trump administration and the new Postmaster General, it's abundantly clear that they're in a far worse situation. The ballot warnings issued at the end of July from Thomas Marshall, general counsel for the executive vice president of the Postal Service, were planned before the appointment of Louis DeJoy, a former logistics executive and ally of Trump's, as Postmaster General in early summer. And by the way, DeJoy has actually made this problem a lot worse, but what you need to think about is the financial investments he has. He literally has a financial interest, an incentive to see the post office fail because he's invested in competitors to the post office. Now, some states anticipate 10 times the volume, the normal volume of election mail. 6 states and DC received warnings that ballots could be delayed for a narrow set of voters. But the Postal Service gave 40 others, including the key battleground states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Florida, more serious warnings that their long-standing deadlines for requesting, returning, or counting ballots were incongruous with the mail service, and that voters who send ballots in close to the deadlines may become disenfranchised. So if they don't have the time to process all this mail, even if you've turned in the mail on time, they might not be able to process that mail in time to meet the state laws, right? So some states are actually working with their state Supreme Courts to change the laws in order to make room for these mail-in ballots, even if the post office isn't able to process them in time. In some cases, states have already extended the amount of time that ballots can be counted. In Pennsylvania, they're trying to extend it past 3 days to ensure that even if it's postmarked 3 days after the actual election date, those ballots will still be counted. But all these states are scrambling right now. And it's pathetic that we're not getting any type of leadership from Congress in combating what the Trump administration is trying to do here to rig the election.
Okay, so if you're a schmuck who believes in Donald Trump, then let me just ask you, based on your own logic, you say, all right, well, on this issue, I believe in Trump because I'm worried about all this fraud. I know that there aren't actually almost no cases of fraud, but Trump tells me there is, and I believe him. I'm super concerned about it, okay? All right, well then wouldn't you spend more money in the post office to make sure that they can catch the people doing the fraud? If you say, no, I believe in Trump, I'm worried that these states are not gonna be able to get the ballots in time, and I'm concerned, I want all the votes counted because I know Trump's gonna win. Trump's so good, he's gonna win in a landslide. I want every vote counted because it's gonna show how great and popular he is and we are. And I'm concerned Pennsylvania and other states are not going to be able to count enough. Wouldn't you then give more money rather than less money to the post office so they can count those votes? Why would you be in favor of taking away the drop boxes, dismantling the sorting machines to be able to process the mail-in ballots, and cutting staff? Wouldn't you be in favor of the exact opposite? Hey, let's make sure the post office is set so they catch all the people doing fraud, so they make sure that these ballots are in time because we're gonna win. No. See, even you know that if we count all the votes, Trump's gonna lose. He's gonna get humiliated. That is why they're desperate to not count the mail-in votes. That's why they're trying to eviscerate the post office. And even if they're gonna count the mail-in votes, they want it to be as late as possible so they can declare victory. Let me show you the graphic again. If all the votes are counted, according to the polling right now, Joe Biden would win a landslide electoral victory, 352 to 186. It'd be a crushing win. But if only the in-person voting counted, according to the polling today, Trump would win 306, 232. That's why he wants to get rid of millions and millions and millions of people voting through mail-in ballots, so he can declare a fake victory and try to stay in office illegally. So that's the only reason to do it. Now, one more thing. Trump and the Republicans are like, oh, senior citizens, we care so much about you. And senior citizens on average voted for him over Hillary Clinton in 2016. And oh, the senior citizens in Florida, we care so much about you. And oh my God, we wanted to protect you from the death panels and Obamacare and all that. Now, Trump just said it, he said, I don't care. Go make them vote in person. Oh, so you don't care about their health or their well-being. And you're gonna try to make sure they can't do mail-in voting and drive them to vote in person, even though you know it endangers their lives. And by the way, as Anna pointed out earlier in the show, Trump's not doing that. He's doing mail-in voting. The hypocrisy is unbelievable and totally sickening.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.